You're listening to Straight Outta Stratford 203 with Zach and Julian, the best sports podcast in Connecticut. Sit back and enjoy the ride in 3, 2, 1.
Straight Outta Stratford, slinging takes like Stafford, talking all the big games, have a beer right after. When it comes to the facts and the stats we provide, better know that our names will be up in the rafters.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Straight Outta Stratford podcast, episode number 21. I'm your host, Zach, along with my co-host,
Julian. What's going on, guys?
What's up, guys? We had quite the week this week so far. We had a lot of different things go on in a lot of different sports this week. Obviously, we saw the MLB awards come out last night. The Cy Youngs were announced a couple days before.
They
but
were
at least
on Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah, the Cy Youngs, I believe, were announced on Wednesday night.
And then Rookie of the Year was Tuesday.
But the main one that I know everybody was really looking forward to was the MVP, which was named last night. But obviously, we're going to focus a little bit more on the Cy Young and the MVPs. So far, we saw Shohei Ohtani reclaim the NL MVP. It is his second back-to-back year winning the award. Fourth time in his career he has been named as an MVP.
Thought it was the fifth.
No, it's his fourth. He has 2 in the AL and 2 in the NL. So he now claims his fourth award. We also saw one that a lot of people will view as very controversial, and that is Aaron.
We will talk about that.
Yeah, that's one we're going to talk about. But that is Aaron Judge winning the AL MVP over Cal Raleigh, the catcher from the Mariners, who had quite the season this year, and everyone thought that he was an MVP shoo-in. Obviously, Aaron Judge had quite a phenomenal season, so it was hard not to give the guy the award there. We also saw Tariq Skubal claim back-to-back Cy Young awards in the AL category. He also, again, one of the best pitchers in baseball, especially from the AL side, so it's not really a surprise. And then the NL was Paul Skeens, who officially claims his first Cy Young in his young career. The guy was another one, absolutely incredible. Obviously, it kind of sucks record-wise.
When you have a sub-2 ERA on the season.
Yeah, sub-2. He had a 1.97 ERA on the year.
It was a 1.98, but it doesn't really matter.
No, I just looked it up a little while ago. It's 1.97. But 1.01 isn't really going to make too much of a difference. Obviously, the only thing that really could have been improved, which is not his fault, is the record. He was 10-10 on the year. Obviously, he wasn't really getting much run support being in Pittsburgh for the team. I mean, he kind of reminded me a little bit of Jacob deGrom during his Met years, where he comes out and he allows 1 run or no runs, and they lose the game 1-0 or 2-1.
They just need to trade him.
Yeah,
like, I know they said that they're not entertaining any calls, but I'm not going to be biased here or anything. But what they're going to do is they're going to wait until he's either A, about to be a free agent, or B, he's just going to leave. It's going to be like another Ohtani situation.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it could get to that point.
But what the Angels did was they kept Ohtani because they also had Trout.
Pittsburgh does not have
Pittsburgh does not have an offensive player with the caliber of being consistent all season long. And you can make an argument for Oneil Cruz, but that you only see stretches from him.
I was going to say the same thing. You can't forget about Oneil Cruz.
You can't forget about Cruz, but you only see stretches of like there could be a 1 or 2 month span where he's really good, and then the next 3 to 4 months he's very bad.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot, and his consistency is something.
And I know there were rumors speculating. A few days ago saying that Skeens came out and said he wanted to play for a better team. He wanted to play for New York, and then he goes out and he says, "Well, there are 29 other teams that expect us to lose, and I want to be one of the 26 guys that turn this franchise around." He came out and said that, but that generally doesn't mean – well, I mean, it does mean he's kind of dismissing the rumors, but at the same time, it doesn't really mean much.
No, I don't really think it means much either. Obviously, when your contract is the way that his is, he doesn't really have much of a choice. So he's going to have to stay there and deal with it. So
he's going to want – he could say that, make it sound like he doesn't want to leave, but if I were the Pirates and a team like the Yankees or not the Dodgers, because if the Dodgers call for him, just don't give him the Dodgers. But if a team like the Yankees or maybe the Mets or a team that has the capital to go trade for Skeens says, hey, we'll give you, just an example for it's like if the Yankees, if they call Pittsburgh like, we'll give you Luis Hill, Will Warren, Spencer Jones, and a boatload of other prospects, and you just give us Skeens, I don't know why they would say no. Number one, because they're not a really good team. Number two, if you trade Skeens now, you're getting the maximum value for him, is where if you wait maybe to where he has 1 or 2 seasons left on his contract, you're not going to get as much for him.
Well, it really does depend on how he plays during those following years as well, too. Because, I mean, if he continues at the pace he's going at, his value probably wouldn't drop all too much. I do get the idea that they're going to burn him out a little bit quicker.
But what I'm saying is that he can continue to play at the level he is for a while because he's only 22, 23 years old. But what I'm saying is what they might do is they might wait till his contract year to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
As to where they would only get 1 top 10 prospect, as where if they trade him now or next season, they can probably get 2 or 3.
Yeah, they could get a couple
along with some other players that are on an active MLB roster that do see playing time.
Yeah, no, I think it would definitely be in the best interest to move him, because I think we know damn well that if it ever got to the point where it came down to his contract season and he was deciding whether he wanted to re-sign with Pittsburgh or leave, chances are
he's going to leave.
Exactly. He would want to leave. He's going to want to play for a championship contending team where he could potentially win a World Series. I mean, he's already got the stat lines from his first 2 years where he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. He has been the best pitcher in the NL over his 2-year stretch. So it's hard not to want to play for a contending team. So I definitely think they should move on from him. I think another player that's very similar in that sense, maybe not in age, is Skubal. Obviously, we saw what Detroit wanted to do with his contract. But
Skubal is a little older. I think he might be 27.
Well, yeah, it's not even the sake of just his age. It's not the
age, but what we're saying is that after this upcoming season, his contract is done.
And he's going to be demanding a lot of money, and he very well deserves it. There are teams that, like the Mets, like the Yankees, the Red Sox, Toronto, as much as I hate to say it, the Dodgers. There are even maybe San Diego, which I don't know if the rumors about them selling the team are true. I've heard a couple rumors about that as well.
Selling the team or just selling?
Well, changing ownership at some point, passing the torch on to somebody
I also
else.
saw rumors that they could be looking to get rid of at least 1 or 2 big-name players to free up money on the books.
Well, I hope it would be Fernando Tatis Jr.
And if it is, that does bring up speculation of would it be Tatis, would it be Machado, would it be...
I'm assuming it would probably be Tatis over Machado. For some reason, I don't know why, but I feel like Tatis has also kind of expressed some frustration in the past because they've gotten fairly close and lost...
Imagine you see a team I always bring them up, like the Mets or the Yankees go out and get Tatis, or they go get somebody, or a team that just needs that one spark plug.
Well, the Mets could potentially be that team too. I know that they've talked about it, especially since I believe his father played for the New York Mets in his career. I'm almost positive. I saw a picture on that his father, Fernando Tatis Sr., played for the Mets.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees make a call and inquire about that.
I wouldn't be surprised, and they should,
because they could always use another righty bat, and is he from the Dominican Republic or is he from Cuba? One of them.
No, I think he's from the DR. I think.
Well, the culture in the Bronx is also very heavily, Hispanic.
Dominican culture, Puerto Rican, yeah,
Cuban, yeah. So.
That was a big reason why Soto wanted to kind of go there in the first place, too. Same thing with the Mets. But like I said, it's insane to see that some players are going to end up getting moved off of that caliber, especially guys like Tatis and like Skeens and Skubal. But, at the end of the day, it is a business, and they deserve as much money as they can possibly get. They deserve the opportunity as star players to go out and compete for some of the top teams and, try and win themselves a championship. So I see it. I see it potentially happening. No one knows how it'll go or where they end up going. But obviously, we're going to see over time how kind of all that plays out. But I know that, like I said, we were going to mention a little bit more. Obviously, we knew Ohtani was going to win the award. We knew Skubal was going to win the Cy Young. We knew Skeens was going to win. The big one was Judge.
Whoa. I saw an argument. I know Ohtani deserved it, but I saw there was an argument for Schwarber as well.
You know what? But obviously, I think we all kind of know the direction I'm going to go in here. Schwarber is a DH. All he does is hit. When you got a guy that's hitting to the same caliber level and also pitching, it's hard not to give that guy the award over Schwarber.
Well, if you look at Ohtani's season, he didn't start pitching till maybe mid-August.
Did Schwarber pitch?
Not at all.
Doesn't matter. Ohtani pitched several games throughout the year. I think they said that he had 14 games where he pitched in the regular season.
Yeah.
That's good enough. Schwarber did not do any of that. He doesn't field. All he does is hit. So I can understand why they say, he was deserving. I'm not disrespecting him saying he didn't deserve it. But when you have a year like Ohtani had, where he's not only hitting the way that he's hitting, stealing bases, and coming and pitching at points during the year, it's hard not to give the guy the award. It really is. He was very deserving. But we'll kind of stay off Ohtani because we kind of knew that Ohtani was going to win. The one I do want to talk about out of all of that is obviously Aaron Judge, because there was a lot of criticism.
I've seen a lot of people say that Judge didn't deserve it, and this brings me back to 2017.
I knew where you were going.
Because when you look at the MVP race for 2017, yes, Judge won Rookie of the Year, which he deserved. But when the argument was made for MVP in 2017, the only thing they said was Altuve had a better batting average than Judge did. Which was the only category where he had Judge beat.
I know all the rest of them Judge was winning.
Judge
clearly
won every other category except for batting average. And people were saying that batting average matters more than home runs and other stats. So, looking at it from this year, right? I understand Cal hit 60 home runs as a switch hitting catcher, which is impressive. What I'm about to say is not taking away from his ability to play, and I'm not saying that he didn't deserve it, because any other year he definitely would have deserved it.
If he was in the NL, he probably could have ended up winning it, maybe.
Yeah.
I think too. Well, I don't know over Ohtani again, but still, yeah. I think Judge deserved it too.
I get it, right? Everybody's argument was, he did what he did at the plate while also commanding an entire pitching staff for an entire season.
Yeah, it was impressive. Very.
I'm not saying it wasn't impressive, but when you look at the numbers, right? He only had a 7.4 WAR on the season. Judge had a 9.7.
Yeah.
Almost a 10 flat.
Well, Judge also batted .331 on the year.
And he played 7 less games than Cal did. He had 30 less plate appearances than Cal did.
Did he have more RBIs than Cal did?
No. He had more hits.
He had more hits than Cal.
He had 179 and Cal had 147.
That's even crazier that he had 147 and 60 of them were home runs. That's nuts. He almost had more home runs than he did just regular extra base hits or singles. 60 to 80 something.
When Judge got hurt and missed those 10 days or however many games that he missed, right? Arguably, you could say he was at the hottest stretch he had all season long.
Quite possibly in his career, too.
Yes. Yeah, you could say that. So, he came back. If Judge didn't get hurt, he probably would have been right around the same number in home runs that Cal is, sitting around 60.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you can make the argument by saying, well, yeah, Judge had 179 hits, but Cal had 60 home runs. Cal had 125 RBIs. He had 2 more stolen bases. Okay.
Yeah, well, at least for me, obviously coming from a non-biased standpoint, I thought that Raleigh did deserve to win. It's just the fact of who deserved it more. And when you see a guy put up the numbers that Judge did throughout the year, even including missing those games, batting .331 with, 53 home runs, 114 RBIs?
Yes.
It's hard not to.
When you look at it, Judge was batting .400 for the first 2.5 months of the season.
Yeah, it's just
you can't. I think he was like at the highest his batting average got was somewhere in it was either 430, low 430 or high 420.
Yeah, that's still like
going
that's,
off that's absurd.
Yeah, that's nuts. And the thing is, like you said kind of before, if this happens in any other year, I think Raleigh ends up winning it. But with the fact that his batting average was lower, Judge obviously had him by a pretty significant margin, I believe.
His batting average was .247.
Yeah, he had him significantly.
He almost had 100 points lower than Judge.
Yeah. That right there should have been the big key to why Judge won. And obviously, I think that is the reason why Judge won.
He had a .331 average with over 100 RBIs, over 110 RBIs,
and over 50 home runs.
And over 50 home runs.
Yeah, it's hard not to give that guy the award for most valuable player. And I think it's fair to say, too,
he also, his OPS was 1.14 and his OPS plus was 215.
Yeah. But kind of what I was going to say was, I think for the sake of this award, in that regard, I just believe for me that if you look at all of the stat lines that you see, obviously Judge didn't beat him in certain categories, but I look at it more as which player would have more of an impact for each team. Obviously, that's what the award's supposed to be. I think it was proven that when Judge was not there, the Yankees are nowhere near the team that they were. Whereas I think that if Cal Raleigh wasn't there, obviously I don't know if they would have been as good either, but they do have a very good pitching staff. They did have some other weapons as well, too. So it would have been a little bit more difficult to say that Seattle would have been bad.
Yeah.
The Yankees went on their worst stretch of the year when Judge was not in the lineup.
Exactly. And another thing I'm going to say is you saw how consistent Judge was throughout the year.
Very consistent.
He was very consistent. You look at the numbers, maybe there was like a 1 or 2 week period where he did struggle from time to time. But when you look at Cal's numbers, you saw he's kind of like his year this year was kind of like how Judge was before he changed his batting stance. It was either home run or strikeout.
Like with Giancarlo Stanton?
Not this year, but yeah,
not this year.
But
prior years,
Prior years, yes. Because when you look at it, right, when 2022, when Judge won the MVP, because of his 62 home runs he hit, right, he was either home run or strikeout. And Judge was not you saw this year. You saw him, you saw Stanton. At times, you did see Volpe take more pitches that they usually wouldn't. You saw them stop chasing pitches out of this. Well, Volpe did this a lot more than they did, but they weren't really chasing as much pitches out of the zone as they usually would.
Well, I think it also comes with the fact that, obviously, I'm not going to crap on Volpe, even though we kind of know that I'm going to a little bit.
He is doo-doo garbage, should not be on the team.
They're going to throw him a lot more strikes than you're going to try to throw to Aaron Judge. Because you throw Aaron Judge a strike and it gives him an opportunity to hit the ball, you do not want to take that chance. That's a very high risk.
Yes, I know.
Very, very high risk.
But with Cal, you can get that swing and a miss, right?
Yeah.
When you have Cal up with the bases loaded, you're not as concerned as you are if you have Judge up with the bases loaded. If you have Judge up with the bases loaded and you're up by 3 or 4 runs and you have somebody behind him that is not really going through a good stretch, you walk him. You walk the run in and you're like, I'm putting this guy on the bases.
So it's kind of like Barry Bonds-esque, walking the bases low or having the bases loaded and intentionally walking the guy. It's like, like I said, I can definitely see that.
Because you can attack Cal. He may not catch up to that fastball.
No.
But if you throw Judge a fastball in the zone, there's a 90% chance it's not coming back or it's not going to be an out.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Like I said, kind of to just, finish off this MLB kind of thing, I think it's fair that everybody that won their awards, all through the list, definitely deserved it. Obviously, there's going to be arguments of people saying, oh, well, Cal should have won. Oh, well, Schwarber should have won. Oh, well, maybe not so much for the Cy Young because I think we kind of had that under lock and key of who was going to win.
Well,
Crochet was kind of close.
Yeah, I was about to say Crochet was close.
But still, I don't know if he really would have competed with Skubal either. In the NL, I think it was fair that we kind of knew that Skeens was going to win. But at the end of the day, all these guys did deserve the awards that they got. Obviously, their stat lines go to prove it. You know, you could do the research yourself. You could look it up, and you could make a lot of other arguments. But, you know, just to say it, everybody deserved their awards. You know, nobody got snubbed. You could say they got snubbed. It is what it is. Everyone deserved what they got, including the Rookies of the Year as well, too. Those guys were very deserving of the awards that they got. So, obviously, there's still going to be a lot of controversy. People are going to be talking about it a lot. All I'm going to say as a non-biased person, it sucks for Cal Raleigh, but at the same time, you know, you can't pass up on giving Judge that award when you look at the year he had.
Also, you're looking at the year Judge had, right? It's not out of the blue.
No.
Right?
Should have been his fourth time winning the MVP.
Yeah, it should have been his fourth time. And when you look at Cal's year, right, nobody expected this out of him.
No, this was the best year he's had in his career.
Nobody expected him to go out and do what he did this year. And you could make that an argument as to why he should have won it, but there's no guarantee next season he'll come out and do the same thing.
No, I don't know if he will, but it's kind of, to be honest, you know who it reminds me a little bit of is Marcus Semien. Having that really good year, got a big contract, and then afterwards he just really has not been anywhere close.
But when you look at Judge for next season, you think of what his expectations are, and it's pretty much
that.
Not the 330 batting average.
Well, at this point, it's starting to get that way.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is you're not going to automatically expect him to bat 330, but you're going to expect him to bat above 280.
I would say above 290 probably.
Above 290.
50 home
at
runs.
Least 50 home runs.
100 RBIs.
Yeah, like that was expected.
Yeah, it was. And like I said, that's the big reason why I think Judge really did deserve that award.
One more thing. This is not related to the awards. I was scrolling on Instagram the other day, and I saw, I think A-Rod was on Jimmy Fallon, and he said when he was on the Rangers, he played with Mahomes' dad, Patrick Mahomes Sr., and he said when Mahomes was 10, he asked him every day for advice because he played baseball and he played football. And A-Rod said he leaned down and whispered in his ear, he said, baseball is where the money is. If you want to make money, you play baseball. If you're going to go play football, you're playing it for fun. Now, I didn't know that until a few days ago. So think about it this way. Imagine if Mahomes did listen to A-Rod and didn't play football and he went to the MLB instead. I mean, I'm not saying it would have been any different. Wasn't he drafted by the Royals? Or was he drafted by the Tigers? It might have been the Tigers.
I have no idea who he got drafted by. I know he was drafted, but I don't remember. There are a lot of football players.
No, but I just thought that was like a little funny story that
Yeah, because I know like Kaepernick got drafted, I believe, for the why did I say Kaepernick? I know he did Russell Wilson did. Kyler Murray did.
Jameis Winston?
Jameis Winston, I believe, played college baseball. I know Tom Brady got drafted by the Montreal Expos.
Yeah.
So for all you kids that don't know who the Montreal Expos are, do a little bit of research. That's the Washington Nationals now, but do your little bit of research. But we'll move off to MLB because we do have some NBA news that has come out over this past week. The big news that we saw came on Tuesday morning as the Dallas Mavericks fired GM Nico Harrison after what many believe could be the worst trade in all of not just the NBA history, but sports history. Getting rid of Luka Doncic, your prime young franchise leader, and it's not really a surprise.
He gave him up for nothing, too.
Well, he gave him up for a lot. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it was a lot, but a lot of very unexpected stuff.
Like, if you're looking to build for the future and you only got one first-round pick in 2027 or 2029 or whatever it is.
Well, they also got Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but you're trading a perennial superstar, right?
Yeah. Oh no, trust me. I'm not saying the trade was a good idea. It wasn't.
Your main player you're getting back is an old, aging, injury prone Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Well, listen,
You're not getting the brow. If you were getting the brow, it would be okay. Like if you were trading for Anthony Davis from the Pelicans, by all means, it would have been a better
better looking trade.
But you got Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and somebody else.
Yeah, I think it was was it Markieff Morris? I think it was one of the Morris brothers, if I'm not mistaken. But still, just the trade overall, I think it's fair to say that the Lakers were definitely winners of the trade. They've been extremely good. Obviously, Luka's been very, very good for them. I think he is averaging like 39 points a game for the Lakers as of this season.
Was it confirmed whether or not the Lakers called the Mavericks for Luka or?
See, that I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say something that I don't have the knowledge on. So I don't know if they probably
the
were
Lakers
the ones
received Maxi Kleber, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris.
I knew Markieff Morris was in that trade.
Max Christie and the Lakers 2029 first round pick along with Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's still the trade itself is just ridiculous. Obviously, the Lakers were the winners of the trade. Dallas was the clear losers of that trade. Right now, the Lakers are doing extremely well this year, too. They're ranked higher up in the Western Conference right now, whereas Dallas has had one of their worst starts. As of the day where he was fired, Dallas was 3-8 on the season. So, if you look...
So, it says that the trade was initiated by Mavericks GM Nico Harrison.
Yeah, so he did call it. See, but anyway, this just goes to prove my point more. The fact that he was the one that called... He single-handedly is the reason why Dallas has taken as big of a hit as it has right now. Obviously, we've talked about Cooper Flagg. He's starting to figure it out a little bit. Obviously, I don't know how great it's going to be. Anthony Davis, again,
isn't he out for the season?
I don't know if he's out for the season. They were saying that he had an injury that they wanted him to play through, which could have resulted in an Achilles injury. Again, very poor handling. Kyrie's still not there. Klay Thompson has not looked nearly as good. They have a lot of issues. Whereas now the Lakers are supposed to get LeBron back. I think they were 8-3 as of Tuesday. I mean, the polar differences between the two franchises after that trade. Obviously, the Lakers were good before the trade, but it made them that much better. Dallas was also good before the trade, and now they're god-awful. So... Again, not really a shocker that we saw him get fired. I thought it was the right move. But not only are we going to talk about the Doncic trade that obviously got Nico Harrison fired, but now there is also rumors circulating that the Memphis Grizzlies are going to move off of Ja Morant.
I did bring this up last week.
You did. And the thing is, I did a little bit of looking into it as well because we talked about what teams really would have made sense. So I remember we said that the Knicks, no thank you. And even after the game, there was a fan that yelled to Ja Morant, "Hey, Ja, come to the Knicks." And he just looked at him and goes, "Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool," and just walked to the locker room after they had lost to the Knicks during the week. So obviously he does not want to come to the Knicks. I don't really want him to come to the Knicks anyway. I think he's a great player. I just don't know if it's the right move for the culture.
If they do trade for a player or do anything, I would love to see them pair Cat with Ant again.
Well, I don't know if Minnesota's going to be moving off of Ant anytime soon either, because that dude is a stud.
I know.
But anyway, going to the Ja Morant situation, obviously they have not really expressed, or at least in Memphis' regard, they have not expressed that they want to move off of Ja Morant. It's more of something that's kind of been stirred up by the media a little bit, but there have been teams that have called in and checked on his availability. So the three teams that have supposedly made either or shown interest or made calls have been the Miami Heat, the Sacramento Kings, and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Miami would benefit because their point guard is currently suspended.
Well, yeah, kind of. Now the big thing is, I could see Miami potentially being a team because, like I said, or like I'm going to say now, They're currently sitting, I believe, at 7-5 on the season. They're in the conversation in the Eastern Conference as one of the playoff teams. They have not had Tyler Hero on the court yet either. The big thing that may throw it off a little bit is I know Eric Spoelstra, and especially with Miami's ownership, they're looking for a buy-in culture, whereas they want people that are fully committed. I don't know if Ja Morant is going to be that kind of guy. He's never really had that kind of attitude. He wants to do what he wants to do. Again, no knock on him. He's a great player, but I don't know if that's the best fit for him. I think skill-wise and what the team could offer with the players around him, absolutely. I think that would be a phenomenal addition for them. That being said, again, I don't know if it's the right culture move. I don't know if Miami is really, truly interested based off of what they've seen with off-the-court drama, as well as some of the issues that he's had on the court as well. So I don't know if that's the move. Obviously, another one that I don't know if it's the move would be Sacramento, just because I think that Sacramento, if anything, he would want to go to a contender. Sacramento right now has not been a contender. Now, that being said, they do have some young talent. They have Zach LaVine. They have DeMar DeRozan. They have Precious Achiuwa. They have Domantas Sabonis. They have some players.
They have Russell Westbrook, too.
They do. But that's the thing is, this team, this is not OKC Russell Westbrook. This is Sacramento Kings Russell
He's not
Westbrook.
playing that bad. He's not playing bad.
He's not playing bad. But this is not prime Westbrook. That is not going to be a point guard that is going to carry you in the playoffs.
No.
So if they want a player that could do that, I mean, look at their two. It's Dennis Schroeder and Russell Westbrook are their 2 point guards. They could obviously make an upgrade to really boost that team up and put them back in contention. Obviously, the West is hard enough as it is. So if they really want to be able to compete in the West, you got to have yourself a solid roster top to bottom. They do not as of right now. Obviously, LaVine and DeRozan are great. Sabonis is fantastic, but they really need to bolster. So if they get him, sure. The one that I thought would be really interesting was Minnesota. Obviously, the reason why I say that is because Mike Conley is their starting point guard right now. Obviously, he is a not very old. He is an aged veteran. He is definitely starting to see a little bit more regression. Then you also have guys like Dante DiVincenzo and Anthony Edwards who they're not really a backcourt that's great with moving the ball, like playmaking-wise. They're very good when it comes to, at least in DiVincenzo's lane, he's a spot-up shooter. The guy can hit threes. He's always been that way. Even when he was on the Knicks, he was great. Then you have Edwards, who's more of just the bully-style kind of basketball guy. He's going to take some shots. He's going to shoot some from the outside, but he's going to love to drive in, try and get that poster dunk that, is circulating throughout the media for weeks. So I think that it would be the most entertaining option if he went to Minnesota as well, because obviously imagine a backcourt of Ja Morant and Anthony Edwards. That's legit. That's very legit. The only thing is, would it work? I don't know. That's the tough part. Obviously, we don't know how any of it would work between them or Miami or Sacramento or any other team that maybe calls and shows interest. But those are the 3 options that they've kind of talked about so far. I'm curious to see if Ja Morant ends up getting moved. I believe that he does. I think it's more of a matter of if when, not if. Exactly. I think it's more a matter of when, not if. So, obviously, we're going to find out over the next couple of weeks probably where he does get moved to. But, yeah, it should be interesting to see wherever he goes. Now, I'm going to kind of talk about the Knicks for a few seconds here, and then we could kind of touch on the 2 teams that have really been stellar this year in the NBA. Obviously, it's the top of the East and the West. But at least with the Knicks had started to turn things around a little bit as well, too. Obviously, they did lose their first game at home the other night, but they've been extremely good at home this year, 7-1 record. On the road, they have not been as good, but I think that that'll kind of turn around. But the big issue that's really started to bother them now is the status of Jalen Brunson, because Brunson did leave the game early.
He did leave the game early, but it is good news. It is only a grade 1 ankle sprain.
Yeah, thank God for that, because obviously there were fans that were very freaked out because they said that insiders saw him leaving the arena with a walking boot and crutches. That was not a good sign. Obviously, I know that the Knicks prayer circles were going crazy on all social media, praying to God that Jalen Brunson's okay.
Brunson is ruled out for tonight. He's not playing.
Which, listen, that's okay. If anything, we just could not afford to lose him for a significant amount of time.
Grade 1 ankle sprain essentially is like a day-to-day. Like, it's not anything to be concerned about, but I wouldn't have Brunson back out there until he's
fully
ready.
Yeah, no. That's the last guy you need hurt.
The only thing I'm going to say is I do see here was the same ankle that he did sprain last year before the playoffs, which led him to miss 15 games, but I don't think it would be that bad.
No, well, if they're saying that it's not that bad and it's only the grade 1 strain, it at least puts Knicks fans more at ease. Because obviously, like I said, when people were saying he's got the boot and the crutches, that did not look good. So at least now that's a little bit better. Obviously, you don't want to miss him for much time because like I had here, he's averaging 27.7 points a game. That is the number 1 player on the Knicks. Right now, obviously I know that you'll probably debate me here. But right now, when it comes to the New York sports world, Jalen Brunson, I still think, is the king of New York. I know Aaron Judge is fairly close. But Jalen Brunson, with the way that he plays in the playoffs as well, too. Judge did have a better year this year. But at least for the sake of New York, Jalen Brunson right now is the king of New York. Everyone loves Jalen Brunson. There are a lot of people that love Aaron Judge, too. Don't get me wrong. But Jalen Brunson, the Knicks get all the love in New York, whereas in New York, the Mets and Yankees kind of split it. The Yankees still have more. But the Knicks, nobody likes the Brooklyn Nets, okay?
Yeah.
Nobody likes the
Nets.
That dude is the king of New York. So they need to make sure that he stays in. Obviously, they did have some good players as well, too. They have Deuce McBride, who probably would have stepped up in his spot. Obviously, not Jalen Brunson, talent level-wise, but still Bridges, Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart. They have a good team.
They still have a good roster.
They do. It's just that is your number one.
That is your number 1 player. It's like if you lose Brunson,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble, but you're not in a lot of trouble. As to where, well, it depends. It depends on how McBride plays.
Listen.
No, but what I'm saying is like Brunson being out isn't the same thing as like Judge being out. Because when Judge is out, the team is dead.
Well, yeah, that's because the Knicks have the supporting cast, whereas the Yankees really don't have. They do have a supporting cast.
I'm not bashing the Yankees like that. Their team is not good. Yeah,
jerseys.
No, I know. I'm not bashing them, but I'm saying like it's not like him missing a few games isn't as bad as to where if Judge misses like 4 or 5 games, yeah, there's no chance that they win them.
Yeah, no. So obviously, thank God Jalen Brunson's okay. You know, like you said, he'll miss tonight, but he'll hopefully end up coming back within a reasonable amount of time. They'll have him back, which will be great for their roster and hopefully can get them to where they're expected to go, which is making a nice little run this year. That being said, we can kind of touch on the 2 top teams. I'm just going to run through these pretty quickly as well. Obviously, at the top of the East and the West right now, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder dominating once again, 12-1 on the year.
Not surprised.
Not surprised at all. SGA continuing to look like an MVP.
Now, they're doing all of this without Jalen Williams.
No, Jalen Williams played.
He did?
Yes, he did. He played the other night. They have him back now. So, going back to the whole SGA situation, he's averaging 32.5 points a game.
That's
guy
impressive.
Is nuts. Obviously, talking about supporting casts, they do as well. They have Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, Cason Wallace, Jalen Williams, A.J. Mitchell, Alex Caruso. The team is very well built. And there's a reason why they're 12-1. But obviously, SGA has been one of the biggest reasons why they are where they're at. He is incredible. One of the best players in the league, if not the best right now with the way that he's been playing. Obviously, it's hard not to talk about them. They look like they could potentially come close to the Bulls and the Warriors kind of record where they don't even eclipse more than 10 losses on the year with the way that they're playing.
That'd be scary.
Which it's close. They're very good. And I know me and Mike talked about this 2 weeks ago. We were saying, I don't know if Oklahoma City's runaway favorites. Yeah, they shut us up pretty quick.
Yeah.
They are definitely looking like runaway favorites to win the West, so I would not be surprised if that's the case. But the one that kind of shocked me is the front runners in the East right now. Obviously, it was Chicago.
Before we go talk about the East, I want to say I thought it was hilarious that Jalen Williams interrupted Shay's interview.
Oh, they always do
Yeah.
that. They're
But he hasn't played a game, and he goes, ESPN, I still play basketball, I swear.
Yeah. No, they used to do that all the time, especially last year. I know that they were putting towels on people.
Well, no,
during
I
the
know
interviews.
that's normal, but
Yeah.
for him to say that I still play because he was hurt, for him
Yeah.
to say I still play basketball, I swear is kind of funny.
Yeah, no. Like I said, they're having fun doing what they're doing. They're enjoying themselves, and rightfully so. When you're 12-1 and defending NBA champs, I mean, you can kind of have a little bit of fun like that as well too. So it makes sense. But again, back to the East situation. Originally, we were talking about the Chicago Bulls, the 76ers, the Knicks, the Heat, the Bucks. The Detroit Pistons are in first place in the Eastern Conference. 10-2, sitting atop of the East, obviously only 12 games into the year. But the reason why I'm so impressed is a couple years back, I'd say about 2 years ago, they had one of the worst teams in the NBA. And within a matter of 2 years, they have been completely rebuilt from top to bottom.
Not only was it just 2 years ago, there was a stretch for a solid 5 years where it was known that the Pistons were at the bottom.
Yeah.
The Knicks were right there with them.
Yes, they were. But it's the quickness of how fast they've turned everything around. Guys like Cade Cunningham, the guy's been a superstar.
Exactly.
27.5 points per game. He's been extremely good. He's looking like the face of the franchise right now for them. Obviously, we've talked about supporting casts. Duncan Robinson, Ausar Thompson, Tobias Harris, which what a shocker for me even bringing that name up. Jalen Duran. They have Karis LeVert coming off the bench. This team has been quite the surprise so far this year. And like I said, for me, the part that impressed me is the speed of the turnaround. Like I said, you look at this team 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure that they had a point of the season where they didn't have a win for 20 games?
Yeah, I remember that.
I think they lost, I think it was close to 20 games, 27 games in a row. In 2023, I believe. Please look that up. I'm almost positive it was it was up there for one of the records of the longest losing streaks in NBA history. And now you're looking at this team, and they're atop of the Eastern Conference. Now, granted, I don't think the East is as tough as the West is, but still, 10-2 on the year.
In a single season, they have the longest losing streak.
So they did have the longest losing streak.
With 28 consecutive losses.
And what year was that? 2023?
2023, 2024.
Yep. So 2 years ago.
The streak began October 30th, 2023, and ended on December 30th, 2023, when they beat the Raptors.
They went 2 months without winning a single game. 2 months. And now they are sitting atop of the Eastern Conference 2 years later.
And Cade Cunningham was on that team.
Yep. That's my point, is the fact that he's blossomed into a star. They've turned everything around, and now they've looked like an extremely competitive team with a good bench, solid depth, and superstar power. Well, they look good.
That's the thing, right? You have teams that are bad, like the Pistons and the Knicks, 2 or 3 years ago. And then all it takes is one player to start performing well, or one player to sign there in free agency.
Yeah, and they can turn things around
for people to be like, okay, maybe this team isn't that bad.
Yeah,
For the Pistons, it was them drafting Cade Cunningham. I mean, obviously he didn't progress to where he is now as fast as they thought he would. But for the Knicks, it was Julius Randle. They offered him a contract after he was done with LA, and he came over. He started playing well, and then teams and people were like, oh, and players were like, oh, you know what? Well, maybe signing with the Knicks isn't a bad thing.
Yeah, it changed their whole opinion on it.
There was so many people connected, so many players linked to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Durant, LeBron, Kyrie, and
many more,
and they all chose to sign elsewhere.
Yep. No, for sure. So, again, like I just said, it's very impressive that they've done what they've done over the past couple of years. They've really established themselves as a legit team in the Eastern Conference. So it'll be interesting to see if they could keep it up the way that they are. But at least as of right now, I had to at least bring them up and talk about how good they've been. Then we can kind of go into a little NHL talk here. We'll kind of keep it quick. I know last week we talked more about, some of the teams that had started out really hot or really cold. Just kind of want to bring it more back to the East Coast. But before I really get into that, I do want to give my condolences to the family of Larry Brooks, the New York Post writer. He worked with the New York Rangers for a long time. He passed away yesterday at the age of 75. Obviously, I'm a big Rangers fan, so I've followed Larry Brooks for a decent amount of time as well. I want to thank him for his contributions to the hockey world and what he had done for the New York Post and content creation for the New York Rangers. Obviously, his friends and family, I give my condolences. Just wanted to give that shout out. Larry Brooks was, very important to the hockey culture, especially the New York Rangers culture and the online presence that he was. It's very sad to see, but, obviously, like I said, he lived a very good life. He did a lot of very good things for the hockey community, so I really do appreciate what he's done. And, again, I just want to offer my condolences. But we can kind of go in a little bit now to the Eastern Conference. A couple of the teams from the more local areas, including the Rangers. All the teams that have been around here locally have actually started to kind of turn things around now. Some of them have made it a statement early in the year, kind of like the New Jersey Devils. Devils currently sit atop of the Eastern Conference right now. They are 6-3-1 in their last 10 games. They've been carried by Jack Hughes, who's been one of the league's best young superstars so far this year. He currently has 20 points through 17 games. He's been very, very effective for them as well. He does have 10 goals on the year, so just wanted to, give an update on them. Obviously, you have the Rangers finally breaking their home loss streak that they had. They hadn't won a game. They finally changed that earlier in the week. They beat Nashville 6-3 at home. Then they ended up beating the Tampa Bay Lightning in Tampa again, so they extend their road record to 8-1-1. They are currently starting to get themselves back into a playoff picture as well. They're currently sitting just outside of the wild card. They are technically they're tied, but they sit outside by one game. Then you also have the Islanders, who are currently sitting in the wild card spot as of right now. They've won a couple really big games over the past couple of weeks, beating the Devils in overtime a couple nights ago, then also beating the Vegas Golden Knights the other night. They have been extremely good so far, kind of surprising people. Obviously, they started a little bit slower, but you see the elevation of Bo Horvat, who's been very good for them. He's got 22 points so far. Matt Barzal making another step up, and then obviously the rookie phenom Matthew Schaefer continuing to do what everyone expected him to do. He added his 6th career goal last night against Vegas in their win. Like I said, they've found themselves back into the current playoff picture as of right now, and then not only that, but then I know a lot of Bruins fans will be happy because the Bruins had a very tough start to the year. They did end up losing last night, which ended up snapping their 7-game win streak. But they have won 8 out of the last 10, which is also pretty big after them starting out pretty slow. Yeah, they started out really slow. I know there was a lot of tough criticism that they were facing, obviously, after starting the way that they did with some of the players that they still do have. David Pasternak's been very good. He's got 24 points throughout the season so far. You also see Morgan Geekie have a big step up for them. He's got 12 goals on the year so far. Again, Charlie McAvoy has been another top defenseman in the NHL. He's got 14 assists so far this season, and they're actually now tied with the Canadiens and the Senators atop of the Atlantic Division and tied for second place in the Eastern Conference. So I just kind of wanted to give a little update on all of the hockey teams from the local area. They have all started to figure out their seasons so far, kind of turning things around or starting off on a hot note so far. So it'll be curious to see how those all play out throughout the year. Obviously, we want to see as much local hockey as we can, get as far as it can into the playoffs. Maybe not so much for them winning, because as a Rangers fan, I don't want to see any of them win except for the Rangers. But at least for the sake of it, the East Coast hockey, especially the New England region and tri-state area, has been much better over the past couple of weeks. Now they're starting to kind of figure things out. We can kind of transition now into college football. Obviously, we did see a lot of very close calls this week and a few upsets again as well.
Well, we may have seen catch of the year in one of the games.
That was a very, very good catch, but the only reason why I said and I'm not too high up on it is because of where and when it happened. We will get into that, or that's what we'll kind of kick it off with, is Indiana, the number 2 team in the country, avoided an upset over Penn State.
Wasn't it the last play of the game?
No, it was not the
No?
last play of the game. It was with about 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Kind of going into it, so Penn State took a 24-20 lead and ended up holding that until pretty late into the game. They went back and forth, had to punt the ball a couple of times, and it gave Fernando Mendoza and the Hoosiers offense one more opportunity to try and take the lead, which they ended up driving downfield and throwing a touchdown to the back of the end zone with about 30 seconds left on the clock. Again, quite possibly the catch of the year in that game. That was a great game to watch. I don't know if many people did watch it, obviously as the viewers. If you did not, that was one hell of an ending of that game. Obviously, I thought Penn State was going to find a way to hold on. Very, very close game for the number 2 Indiana Hoosiers as they do escape with the win and get their first win in Happy Valley, and God knows how long that's been. So, that was impressive. Fernando Mendoza leading that drive at the end of the game. They improved to 10-0 on the year. Then you also have the number 8 Texas Tech Red Raiders defeated the number 7 BYU Cougars 29-7. That game was all Texas Tech. I watched a majority of that game as well too. Quite the showing from Texas Tech defensively. They only allowed under 10 plays in their own territory the entire game. Texas Tech did have some issues a little bit at some points on offense, but they were obviously able to pull away fairly decently in that game. You also saw that BYU only gained 255 yards and 7 points. I think that says all you need to say about how good Texas Tech's defense was that day. But they were led offensively by Cameron Dickey, who rushed for 121 yards on 23 carries. He added a touchdown in the game, as well as Beren Morton, who went 17 of 32 for 219 yards and a passing touchdown. So the Red Raiders improved to 9-1 on the year, where the BYU Cougars dropped their first game of the year and they fall to 8-1. Now, did you watch the Oregon versus Iowa game?
I did not.
Oregon's another one. Escaped an upset. They were losing 16-15 in that game late into the fourth quarter. Dante Moore didn't really have his best stuff. He only threw for 112 yards passing and 13 of 21. He didn't have a touchdown, but he did throw one interception. The Ducks offense, though, came majority on the ground. They had 261 yards, led by Noah Whittington, who finished with 118 and set on 17 carries. Obviously, they did kick a field goal with very little time left in the fourth quarter to win the ball game, 18-16. Then unranked Wake Forest. This was a game I know I wasn't really too high up on. Virginia, obviously their schedule was a little bit weaker, even though they were ranked as the number 12 team in the country. They lost 16-9. I think it was a big reason why was because their quarterback, Chandler Morris, got knocked out of the game fairly early with an injury. Obviously that became a big factor as Wake Forest did pull off the win. The only touchdown that was scored in the game was an 88-yard punt return for a touchdown. So that was kind of a shocker, but at the same time, not really so much. Obviously, Virginia was ranked fairly high, but I didn't really have much high hope on them. But the game of the week
was Auburn versus
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What a game that was. Obviously, the final score was 45-38. Vanderbilt came back to win in overtime in that game.
I saw that.
Diego Pavia went absolutely ballistic. He had 377 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air and 112 rushing yards and a touchdown on the day as well. A great performance from him. Then you also saw his counterpart in Auburn's starting quarterback, Ashton Daniels. Another one. Great game from him.
Wow.
353 yards. Two touchdowns passing. Also had
89 rushing yards on 18 carries and 2 rushing touchdowns.
Absolutely crazy performance. In the entire game, the teams combined for 83 total points and 1,107 yards in the game. That is what you want to see from college football. That was an absolute battle.
It kind of reminded me of, well, it didn't remind me, but looking back at it now, it reminds me of the game that took place the day after in Berlin, the Falcons and the Colts.
A little bit.
It was a dormant game until the fourth quarter, and then they just started going
ballistic. Yeah,
exactly.
You're 100% right. And that was a crazy game to watch a little bit of as well, too. Obviously, Diego Pavia, what a performance from him. He's the big reason why Vanderbilt's been nearly as good as they've been this year. You got to give a lot of credit and tip your hat where the credit is due. Obviously, we did see some other scores. Alabama defeated LSU 20-9. Ohio State beat Purdue 34-10. Texas A&M handled the number 22 team in Mizzou 38-17. Georgia defeated Mississippi State 41-21. Notre Dame kind of ran away with that one against Navy 49-10. And then Miami got back in their win column 38-13 over Syracuse. Cal upset number 15 Louisville 29-26 in overtime. And Wisconsin upset number 23 Washington 13-10. We do have 4 big matchups coming up this weekend. We do have the number 11 Oklahoma traveling to take on the number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide in a game that's going to be very big for both teams, obviously to try and make their playoff push. Then you also have the number 9 Notre Dame taking on the number 22 Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Number 21 Iowa traveling to California to take on the number 17 USC Trojans. And what I think is going to be the big game of the week, this is the primetime game as well, is the number 10 Texas Longhorns taking on the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs. Can Arch Manning get back in the win column and keep Texas's playoff hopes alive?
I don't know.
We shall see. I'm going to take a guess and say no. I already had them circled on the calendar and gave Georgia a W in that game. But we shall see. We shall see.
Now,
anyway, we will go over to the NFL because we got a lot of stuff to talk about with them at least.
Yes, we do.
So the big news, which
About time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you're freaking thrilled.
I was thrilled. I'm shocked that he got released before Mike McDaniels got released. But we'll talk about that.
Do you want to do the honors, Mr. Giants fan?
Yeah. Brian Dable has finally been relieved of his coaching duties. It's about time. I saw reports saying on Sunday when Dart came out of the game, he didn't get evaluated for a concussion right away.
They were trying to put him back into the game.
He was trying to put him back into the game until somebody realized something wasn't right with him. And they sent him to the locker. Like, I get you want to win the game, Dable, but don't put your future franchise quarterback at risk of not being able to play like a career with longevity.
Yeah, no.
Also, if you're looking to win a game and you're up by more than 10 points in the fourth quarter for the 4th time this season, and you have to rely on a quarterback to go out there and win and produce, why the hell are you putting Russell Wilson into that game?
Listen, as someone who's not a Giants fan, I couldn't answer that question.
As somebody who
you.
is a Giants fan, I'm like not mad that we lost because obviously we do get a better draft pick that way.
Yeah, you do.
But at the same time, I'm sick and tired. I was sick and tired of seeing Russell Wilson go out there and completely throw the game away, which is why I'm happy Mike Kafka said this week that Jameis Winston is going to start if Dart cannot play. Why didn't Dable tell Winston to go out there? If I saw Winston go out there and throw 2 Hail Marys and throw 2 interceptions, I would have been like, all right, but it's Jameis Winston. How can you hate Jameis Winston? Yeah. Exactly.
Eat the dub.
And then if they did win, you'd see him eat the W. Like,
yeah. All I could say on it is I kind of saw it coming a little bit when you go 20-40-1 in your tenure as the New York Giants head coach. You went 20-40-1.
He had the worst record for a Giants head coach since they fired Tom Coughlin.
Yeah. Now, the thing that I was more shocked at was he won the Coach of the Year in 2022.
Yes, this is what I'm going to talk about. A lot of people would not think that he had a worse record than Ben McAdoo or Pat Shurmur or Joe Judge Jason Garrett was the OC. But in 2022, he came in, he brought a team that was not good.
No.
To the playoffs, and they won a playoff game.
Yeah. And then proceeded to follow it up
to win
2-8.
Proceeded to win Coach of the Year that year. And that season right there not only messed up the Giants' future, it gave him a longer leash.
Yeah, it did. They said, "Oh, this is our new coach now. We got the guy."
They said this is our guy. He got us to the playoffs once. We had a 2-8 season. It was a fluke. He'll get us back to the playoffs. And this year, if he coached the game the way it was supposed to be, yeah, I could see them being, instead of being 2-8, I can see them be, see them being 6-4. I can see them beating Dallas.
Well, it's not the 4 road losses that you had. You led by 10 points. If you win those games, you're 6-4.
Well, no, we didn't lead at all in Washington week 1.
You blew 4 10-point leads.
Yes.
On the road.
Dallas,
Chicago,
Denver,
and New Orleans. That's what I'm saying. If you win those 4 games, you're 6-4. You're technically in a playoff conversation. And this man started out 2-8 the last 3 years after winning the Coach of the Year and taking them to the playoffs. I had a feeling he was also going to get fired. Now, granted, I would have thought that Mike McDaniel was going to get fired first. I was very surprised by that. Obviously, they beat the Bills now, so I don't know how that works.
Well,
but
here's what I'm going to say. Dable getting fired is good for the Giants.
Oh, no question about it.
Now, what I want to see is them bringing a coach that isn't going to do the same thing that he did.
John Gruden.
Thank you very much.
I said it to a bunch of fans so far.
I would love them to bring in Gruden and be like, this is our guy. Now,
he's no BS.
I know he has a lawsuit against the NFL. And what I think might happen is he might tell the NFL, I will drop the lawsuit if you let me coach the Giants. I saw on Barstool the 40-minute interview that he did with Jackson Dart.
You were clapping the whole time?
What was your snap cadence? No, but what if you were doing what if you were running a fake? What if you
called it purple? Okay, and what'd you do?
What if you were running a double snap or like a
yeah, that was
like a Monday call?
So you spent the last 4 years clapping.
Yes.
Dude, listen, the only reason why I wanted Gruden is because I know he's no BS at all.
He's no BS at all. He got fired for something that he said in an email, but at the same time, he shouldn't have said it. But
no, he shouldn't have said it.
He shouldn't have said it, but at the same time,
if you're going to hold people accountable, you got to hold the players accountable too. Because these dudes have gotten away with, not literal, but they've gotten away with murder.
Ray Lewis did.
Well, okay, easy. But they've gotten away with a lot worse. And they're still playing.
Exactly.
But because of an email, he gets fired. I think that it would be a great opportunity for him.
And another thing, right? He loves Dart.
I know he does.
Absolutely, he loves Dart.
The only thing is he told him, you have to learn to slide.
Yes, but I think if Gruden does become the coach, you will see that.
And that would be great. That would be the best possible thing for Jackson Dart's career.
I've also seen, I don't know who said it, but some coaches from contenders saying, why wouldn't I go coach the Giants?
Yeah.
They have on paper they have a great defense that they could, at the end of the season, I do think Shane Bowen does get released.
I was just about to say that's their biggest thing.
I do think Mike Kafka does get released.
Maybe.
But they got rid of Dable. I think they should clean house. They kept Joe Shane. I don't know if they get rid of him either.
They should. That's another one. I think Bowen and Shane both need to go.
Shane, and if they clean house, I don't care. But I saw an anonymous coach of a contender say, why wouldn't I go coach the Giants? You have a young rookie quarterback in Jackson Dart. You have a breakout running back who's coming back next year in
Cam Scatterbo.
And you have Malik Neighbors on the offense. And on paper, you have a defense that could be one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
Also, you have a top 10 pick in the draft, most likely top 5.
Yeah. They have a lot of good opportunity going forward.
If a proven coach that is an offensive coordinator or a coach that's not as isn't happy with where he is, if a proven coach gets the job offer I wouldn't be mad if they take it. I wouldn't be mad if they get Gruden as the head coach. Antonio Pierce is the defensive coordinator. And then go get somebody else for the OC.
Maybe, yeah. No, like I said, there's a lot of options that they could roll with, and there's going to be a lot of time for them to do that. So I'm curious to see what the end of the season looks like for them, because then they'll really address it.
And there's a lot of people saying, well, I'm still not sold on Dart.
Nah.
I saw an analyst, I forgot which one said it, but I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth, but he said, I'm still not sold on Dart. It's a lot of hype and running around. Like, what? Yeah, but that's kind of like, if you think about it, that's what Lamar does.
Well, hold on. Here's the way that I would say it without sounding like that.
Hold on. I'm not like trying to say Lamar is just hyped up because he runs the football around and whatnot. I'm saying that his play style, the way he does it, like he evades, he maneuvers the pocket the way that he does. Because Lamar is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I'm saying the way that Dart plays is the exact same way, but it's the way he's comfortable playing.
Yeah, here's the way I'd say it, though. What I'm thinking is, look at all of the rookie quarterbacks that have been playing so far this year.
Dart's been the best one by far.
I would definitely say he's up there as one of the better rookie quarterbacks that's played so far.
No, he is the best rookie quarterback.
Because so far, it's Cam Ward, no.
No,
Tyler Shuck, no. He's been good over the past couple weeks, but no.
Dylan Gabriel,
no. Obviously,
Shedeur
hasn't seen the field. So there's not really many. So he's been the best one. Now, granted, there hasn't been many, but I think that there's a lot of good that comes from him. I like the way that he plays. He's just got to learn to slide.
He's got to learn to slide. But even, I forgot what game it was. It might have been, was it Denver or I don't know. It was whatever game Tom Brady called that the Giants were playing. It might have been Giants Eagles the second time they played. Might have been on Fox. And Tom Brady said, if you're a Giants fan, I would be ecstatic that you guys got Dart.
Yeah,
For Tom Brady to say that he likes the play style that Dart uses and how he maneuvers, and he sees that he's a rookie and he's making the reads that he does, for somebody who is hands down one of the best might be considered the best quarterback of all time.
No, he is the best quarterback of all time.
So what I'm saying, the best quarterback of all time. To say that about a rookie quarterback, nonetheless,
it's a great thing to hear.
It's a great thing to hear.
Oh yeah, no question.
He said he liked the fact that Dart takes accountability for the loss against Denver.
Yep.
Like, people were saying it wasn't his fault, but Dart goes, "Yeah, I made a mistake. I threw an interception."
Yeah, and that's going to happen. And he's only a rookie. Obviously, we've seen a lot of worse starts from rookies as well too. So
also,
there's a lot to be happy about.
Look at the receivers he has. Neighbors getting hurt wasn't really his fault.
Wandale, Darius Slayton.
Well, Wandale's been serviceable.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that he's been bad, but I'm just saying.
But Darius Slayton's had a few drops. Like, when Neighbors is back and Scatterbo's healthy, Dart, it's going to be.
Well, hopefully they would draft another receiver next year as well, too. Like we mentioned, Jordan Tyson, I think, would be a good fit to put on the other side of Malik Neighbors. Maybe if it's not even him, they could go a little later and get Nick Harbor from the South Carolina Gamecocks. He's very big. He could be your throw the ball up to target, kind of like a Calvin Johnson. Obviously not the same size, but big boy. So we don't know.
I saw recently they might go after the kid from Ohio State.
Oh, who, Jeremiah Smith? Can't be him.
No, can't be him. He's got another year.
Yeah, I was about to say, he can't be him because he's got another year. So I don't know who, but we'll see. Obviously, they still have a lot of time. Now, we also do kind of want to bring up the fact that there was a big trade that happened at the trade deadline.
Well, it wasn't really, like, right now, it wasn't a big trade.
Well, it was a very, I would say it was an impactful trade, or should have been impactful.
I'm surprised because I thought they then traded him to Miami.
No.
I think originally they were supposed to, and then they took him out.
They did not. But what we're talking about is Jair Alexander, after being traded to the Philadelphia Eagles from the Baltimore Ravens at the deadline, has decided to step away from football to focus on his mental and physical health. And as he contemplates possibly retiring from the NFL, he is a 28-year-old. Obviously, he is a former two-time second-team All-Pro, as well as a two-time Pro Bowler. He spent, obviously, the majority of his career with the Packers before he was cut in 2025. It was just shocking to me that he, the trade goes through, and before he even plays a game, he says
he's stepping away.
I'm going to step away and kind of focus. And screwed the Eagles a little bit.
Well, they didn't really give up much to get him. It was like a fourth.
Yeah, but they still gave up draft capital, period. And for a guy that's not even going to play.
Well, what I'm going to say is, number one, I always loved Jair. He was always so optimistic about like the view of the game. Like when he was hurt, every time he came back after an injury, he would go up to the reporter. I don't know if it was on the news or whatever, and he'd be like wearing sunglasses. Somebody goes, "Just in case you ain't heard, the pack is back."
Yeah,
he's. But what I'm gonna say is, I am happy that he did this, because the last thing you want is for somebody to keep playing when their head isn't in the right spot.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. You're right.
And then it could lead to them making mental mistakes, number one. Number two, it could lead them to making hits that they probably shouldn't do. And
it could cost
the Eagles, number one. It could also maybe give him CTE if he's not playing carefully.
Yeah.
And another person that did this a while ago, who I believe was younger than Jair Alexander, was Nasir Adderley, who was on the Chargers.
Yep.
He had just signed a contract extension, I believe, and he wasn't bad. He was pretty good. He was he was decent, but he stepped away from the game due to his mental health issues. And he said, as much as it pains me to do this, I'd rather be in a better better mentally in the head than I am.
His mental state would have been better. Yes.
Not that it wasn't fine where it was when he was playing football. He goes, I would rather focus on bettering my mental state than continuing to play in the NFL. He goes, playing here makes me so happy, but it can only do so much for my mental health.
Yeah. And I think it was a smart thing for Jair to step away as well, too. Obviously, you don't want to see a guy that's not fully there step out and try and play, especially for a team that's got hopes of trying to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
It could cost them.
And then you have players that do that, hide it, and then after they're retired, 4 or 5 years later, you find out that they're dead, like Vincent Jackson.
Yeah, and you don't want to see that from any of these guys.
No.
So obviously, that was a very shocking thing. Obviously, the Eagles kind of took a little bit of a snub, I would say, losing a little bit of draft capital for a guy that's not going to play. But obviously, prayers up for Jair Alexander. Hopefully, he gets his mental state right, and I'd love to have him back. But
now we have the top 5 power rankings.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of power rankings.
Well,
obviously,
hold on.
You don't have to agree.
Quickly, before we do talk about this, I am going to speak about something that did happen this week that was said. Apparently, I don't know how they're friends, but a Twitch streamer, I think by the name of Janky Rondo, was streaming Madden. He was playing with AJ Brown. And AJ Brown came out and said that, my season, it's a wash, it's a disaster. Came out and said all this stuff, and he said, if you have me in fantasy, get rid of me.
Yeah, it's not something you want to hear either.
You go and he said that, well, it was live and a lot of people heard it and he was brought up in the media. And I don't know exactly what else he said, but they asked him if he's going to apologize for what he said, and he goes, no. He goes, why should I apologize for something that I was talking to one of my friends about?
Yeah. Now,
if I'm talking to one of my friends about something,
you can say what you want.
I should be able to say what I want to say.
Now, I'm going to say one quick thing on this though, and I don't want it to come across as a bad way, but again, I think that the crying and moaning and complaining from A.J. Brown is becoming way too much of a problem for Philadelphia. I think that it's ridiculous. Obviously, they just won a freaking Super Bowl last year.
I know they just won a Super Bowl last year.
And he's going to continue to cry and complain about his usage. At this point, if I'm Philadelphia, I'd probably look at it. And now, granted, he's a great player. When he gets the ball, he's phenomenal. But I would look at it and say, especially if they don't win this year, do everything they can to get rid of him. They could easily go out and draft somebody or sign somebody else that's going to be way less of a headache than this. Because this guy, it's getting ridiculous.
It's getting to the point where he needs to be the number one guy.
Yeah.
And Hurts is when he does throw the ball is looking. He either goes to Goddard, Calcaterra, or Smith,
or Dotson.
or Dotson.
He's been throwing to Dotson a little bit as well too.
Yeah,
but
But-
it's just
but what I've like,
pathetic to be
it's
honest.
pathetic, but in a way, it's understandable, right?
I get it, but
Like I saw online the other day that apparently that 4th and 3 call that where Hurts threw the 50-50 ball to A.J. Brown, that was not called by the coach.
yeah.
But
Again,
that's another thing, right? That's another thing. If he's upset, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, right?
no.
All this to the media could be him whining and moaning and complaining that he's not getting the ball, but behind closed doors, right? A.J. Brown's up there with the top receivers in the league. You look at what he's done the past 2 or 3 seasons when you've gotten him the ball, right?
Yeah, he's been
He's
phenomenal.
been phenomenal. So behind closed doors, if you're having your offensive coordinator and your head coach, Sirianni, say, well, he's still complaining, don't give him the ball,
Yeah, it could be a
that's
coaching
where
issue. I
that's
don't
where
know.
it could be an issue.
No, it's definitely becoming a big issue.
It's becoming an issue not only in the media, but as the Eagles organization as a whole. And with that being said, which is why you have the top 5 teams ranked in like power rankings or whatever, you have the Patriots as an honorable mention. That's why I'm swapping the Eagles for honorable mention, because you look at it, right? A team like this going into the playoffs, if they're all discombobulated and they're not on the same page, like if A.J. Brown is still complaining come playoff time, they will be a first-round exit.
Yeah, now, hold on. Now, the thing is, this is the only reason why. Like you said, I did have my power rankings fully set. I do have the Patriots as an honorable mention, and I had the Eagles at number 5. Obviously, you said that you would swap them. The big thing for me, that the only reason why I had the Patriots sitting on the outside and the Eagles on the inside, there's two big things. Number one, the Patriots' schedule is one of the weakest schedules in the NFL so far this year. I mean, if you pull through some of the games that they've played, the 2 losses that they have this year are to the Pittsburgh Steelers and to the Las Vegas Raiders. Those are their 2 losses this year. Then if you look at the teams that they've beaten so far, let's go ahead and let's pull this up, because I did this the other night as well, too. Shout out to Liam. I know he's going to be watching this as well. He's a Patriots fan. And I was giving him a little bit of crap, even though they did win last night over the Jets, which obviously we didn't get to make the picks for because they played on a Thursday night. But obviously, I would have taken the Patriots to win that game anyway. Not a disrespect to Drake May or the Patriots. But anyway, if you look at their schedule of who they've played, right? Here we go. They lost to the Raiders in week 1.
Beat the Dolphins week 2.
They lost to the Steelers in week 3. Then they beat the Panthers, which, I mean, granted, the Panthers have been better, but still are very inconsistent, especially on the road. They're horrible. They beat the Bills, which was a little bit of a shocker, but the Bills have kind of struggled. They beat the Saints in a close game. They beat the Titans, who are one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the NFL. They beat the Browns. They beat the Falcons. The biggest 2 wins I think that they have on their schedule was the Bucs and the Bills. Other than that, their schedule has been pretty weak. But then if you look at the Eagles and who they've beaten, obviously their 2 losses, I believe, came to
Denver and the Giants.
The Denver and the Giants. Denver's 8-2 somehow. The Giants, we already know. But they've beaten a lot of good teams. They beat the Rams. The Rams are one of the top teams in the league right now, which we'll get to at some point. But again,
so they beat Dallas, they beat the Chiefs. They beat the Rams. They beat the Bucs. They lost to the Broncos. They lost to the Giants. They beat the Vikings. They beat the Giants, and they just beat the Packers.
All the teams that they're beating are much more competitive.
But
than
what I am going to say, right, is that yes, they did win those games against the Packers and the Vikings
and the Rams,
but the Rams game was more or less.
The Rams blowing it?
The Rams, not the Rams blowing it, but the Eagles finally utilizing their 2 receivers.
But
here's the thing, right? You have a team like the Eagles, and their number 1 game plan is to give the ball to Saquon.
Yeah.
You can stop Saquon. Hurts' second option should always be A.J. Brown. I don't care if he is throwing a temper, whatever. Your top priority, if you're Jalen Hurts, is to get the ball to A.J. Brown, because he is a big body receiver. He is a very physical receiver. He may not be the best receiver for yards after catch, or yak or whatever, but he will go up there and he will pull the ball down. Basically, he could from anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. And when your second option is Devonta Smith, I'm not taking away from his credibility. He should be the third option. But when you're throwing to Devonta Smith and I mean
Dallas
Goddard's another good option. But if AJ Brown is your fifth read, there's something wrong with the coaching staff.
No, I agree, but here's my thing again. Like I said, the Eagles, even with everything seeming to go wrong, is 7-2 and beating teams that are very good. The Patriots are doing everything right, and they're winning games against weaker teams. The Eagles are playing some decent teams. I'm not going to say that it's much better than the Patriots' schedule is, because they have played the Giants twice, which they did lose once. But my point is, even with things not going fully right, they are finding ways to win games.
Now,
if they can figure things out, that team on paper is better than New England.
Well, yeah, that's
point blank, period.
I am not going to disagree with that statement. If they can figure everything out, then they're
even higher on the list.
5. Now, going back to New England, I just want to say one thing. I will admit I was wrong about a prediction that I made before the season even started.
Oh, Stephon Diggs?
Yes.
Yep.
I want to apologize because usually when you come off of a torn ACL, you're not really as good as you once were. I mean, if you're a younger player, then yeah, unless you're a running back, because then you just don't want to hurt your knee again. But
Cardi B's got him on a new level, man.
Yeah, but hold on. But for a younger player like Neighbors, I think he'll come back and do the same stuff he was doing before he tore his ACL and whatever. But for a guy like Diggs to do it, who's not only coming off of a torn ACL or Achilles or whatever it was, who's also aging and is not as young as he once was, for him to do what he's been doing the past few weeks has been impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. And he's been very good.
He's been better. I thought he was going to be like that guy that occasionally got a red zone touchdown or whatnot, but last night he had 9 receptions for 108 yards.
Yeah. He looked very, very good. Again,
and the game against Buffalo, he did very well.
Yep, and that's like I said, that's the big reason why the Patriots are just on the outside. Again, very good team for me. I think the Eagles are still going to find a way to figure it out.
And I am also very happy that they finally started to utilize TreVeyon Henderson the right way.
Well, we said before the season started that we thought that TreVeyon Henderson was going to be the guy in New England. Well, and now he may be.
Now the question is, what's it going to be like when Stevenson comes back?
Henderson's taken over, and he should. Sorry. I think do you disagree?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
But I have a few friends that are Patriots fans, and I was talking to one of them last night, and he goes, "No, I think they're going to split carry." I'm like, "They shouldn't."
They shouldn't. Ramondre should be a third down back. If you need short yards and you need a bulldog back there to push and get you a couple yards, sure. But TreVeyon Henderson should be their starting running back.
TreVeyon Henderson had 3 touchdowns last night.
Two on the ground, 1 through the air. Yeah. That's my point. We said it before the season started that I especially said that I thought TreVeyon Henderson was going to be one of the Rookie of the Year candidates. Obviously, it's a little bit too late to do that now because there are a couple that have really pulled away. But again, I think that was the right move. But that is the reason why I have the Patriots as my honorable mention, Eagles at 5. Number 4 for me, I know a lot of people are going to be like, how are they this low, is the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, they have the number 1 player right now, especially the number 1 running back right now, in Jonathan Taylor. What he has done is unprecedented.
He's hit his second prime.
He is incredible. The guy is on pace to put up some video game style numbers. He's been incredible. Obviously, Daniel Jones has had a much, much better year than everyone expected. They have a very good defense. They made the addition to add Sauce Gardner, but they ended up losing DeForest Buckner to injury for a couple weeks. I think he's on the IR. He'll end up coming back at some point, but again, they have the number 1 yards per game offense. They have the number 1 total yards offense. They have the number 1 points scored offense. They are one of the best offenses in football.
They have the leading receiver for tight ends.
Yeah.
In the entire league.
In Tyler Warren. And they have a very, very good roster. The only thing that scares me is the Pittsburgh Steelers exposed something on them in that one game. And the Falcons did a little bit too, was forcing Daniel Jones to throw the ball not to his first read, to his second, third, and fourth reads.
We did speak about that
We've talked about that. And I think that that's kind of hindered them a little bit. And I think that the better teams, as they start going on throughout the season, are going to force him to do that. The Rams did that in the game where they ended up beating him. Now, granted, the game could have gone another way as long as Adonai Mitchell doesn't drop that touchdown. But that being said, it happened.
A.D. Mitchell isn't as good as everybody thought he was going to be.
Well, no, he had a couple bad moments last night as well, too. But my point being is the Colts are very, very good, but the teams that have extremely good defenses that can expose some of their flaws, I think can get the upper hand on them.
Now,
I just don't have them that high up. I'm sorry.
This Sunday, they play the Chiefs, and then after the Colts.
No, Denver plays the Chiefs.
Or no, next Sunday they play
next
the Chiefs.
Sunday. I was about to say
this is their bye week. My bad. I forgot.
I know. I was about to say.
So their next game that they play is against the Chiefs. And then they play the Texans. And then after the Texans, they play the Seahawks, the Niners, the Jags, and then the Texans again.
That's a tough run towards the end of the year. Things could change quick, especially playing against the Seahawks and the Niners. As much as I don't like either of those teams, it's tough.
You could say that there's a chance they could beat. It depends on how well the Chiefs play, but the Chiefs are most likely going to win that game.
I would not be surprised if they do. And that's the only reason, like I said.
But you could say that they're going to beat the Texans.
That'll be a close game, too.
You could say they're going to beat the Jaguars.
They're going to win that game.
And then they're going to beat the Jaguars again.
Yep.
And then they're going to beat the Texans again.
Well, maybe. I think the Texans' defense will give them a lot of problems.
It also depends on who the Texans have at quarterback at that point.
Yeah, I think Stroud will be back by that point, hopefully. But
from what I've seen, I think
even though Davis Mills didn't look bad.
Davis Mills might have been playing better than Stroud.
Yeah, no question. Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know. I just don't have the Colts that high up.
Maybe Davis Mills was never the problem.
No, I don't think so. But again, Colts I'll have sitting at number 4. Number 3 for me is the Detroit Lions. Obviously, one of the best offenses in football again. They've had a couple bad losses, but...
Now, here's the thing about the Lions. When the Lions are up by 10 or 14... they're pouring on the points.
Yes, they are.
They are giving belt to ass.
Yeah. Yes, they are. They are.
And the one thing that I've seen with the Lions is that if you flip the script and they're down by 14 points, they're not doing that.
Well, the thing is, here's where I'll agree with that. I think that when they're up by 14, they could focus heavily on their run game, which is one of their biggest strengths in Montgomery and Gibbs. And again, former Ram, sorry to say it, but when they're down by 14 points, you have to rely on Jared Goff. And Jared Goff, I like him, but if you get pressure on him, he makes mistakes. And I think that's the reason why. But still, now granted, the Lions are a team that is good enough to take a lead on pretty much any team in the NFL. They've proved it time and time again. The culture under Dan Campbell is there. The defense gets to the quarterback. Their secondary is a little bit banged up, but they put pressure on the quarterback. They have a great run game. They have the weapons on offense. It's hard not to give them credit either. They're a very good team. You will see them in the playoffs. They will make some noise. Detroit Lions for me at 3. I'm assuming you're probably fairly similar with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A team that's not here at the moment, but could potentially be in the not top 5, maybe like top 10, as we see them starting to rally back together now that their quarterback is back.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
I figured that's where you were going. But granted, again, it depends on if their defense can hold up. First couple weeks, they were horrible. They were banged up. They're starting to get guys back. They've played much better. Offense has had some struggling moments, though, as well, too. Minnesota.
But you know who's played well, which we did say would do very well for them this season?
Who?
Malachi Starks.
Yeah, like I said, Malachi Starks is a good pick for them. I kind of knew it. So you did too. We both said it.
But what I'm saying is, like, the teams that we're saying here, like, Colts weren't expected. The next team we're about to say is not going to be expected.
No, but this is the way that I'll kind of put this to transition it in. The last 2 teams, the number 2 and the number 1, will be facing off, in my opinion. These are the teams that we believe are there. We'll be facing off this weekend, and that is between the number 2, in my opinion, Seattle Seahawks, versus the number 1, LA Rams. Now, everyone's going to say, oh, well, you're wearing a Rams jersey. Of course you're going to put the Rams at 1. I'm not the only one putting the Rams at 1.
Who leads the league in touchdown passes this season?
Matthew Stafford. And again, this is something that I talked about a couple weeks ago. I said that Matthew Stafford was a top 5 quarterback in football, and he was playing at an MVP level. And I had people telling me that Caleb Williams and Justin Herbert and Drake May is in the conversation, so I'm not going to say anything. But there were a couple names on that list that they said were better than Matthew Stafford. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you right now, ain't no shot in hell that they're better than Matthew Stafford. Now, granted, he does have a great supporting cast around him. He's got a great head coach. But you know what? He's 37. He's been on fire. He's got 25 touchdowns and 2 interceptions on the entire year. That is the best that he's looked. And I heard Rich Eisen say it. This is the season that Matthew Stafford puts himself in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
I think he's already in the Hall of Fame, period, especially since he's 9th all-time in passing yards. He's only the 9th quarterback ever to throw for 400 career touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's up there already. He leads the league right now in game-winning drives for all of active quarterbacks. He's on the list, I believe, of all-time game-winning drives. It's hard not to put him there. But for all of the doubters that said that he was never there, this is the season that so far he is putting himself even deeper into the Hall of Fame.
To think that the Rams were going to trade him in the offseason.
No, I knew that they were not trading him. Those people were out of their minds. They were just trying to stir up the pot. The only thing that concerned me was the back issue because he is 37. But however, the Rams' offensive line has been good. They've kept him upright. And we know Matthew Stafford is a dog. We've seen what he's done his entire career with rib injuries. Obviously, you saw the play where he dislocated his shoulder and came in and threw a touchdown pass to win the game on the next play. The guy is a dog. He's always been that way. So
and
for me,
for you to say that this is the best statistical year on paper for Stafford, which it is.
It is.
But people are going to be like, well, with the Lions, he didn't really have a great supporting cast. He had arguably one of the best receivers of all time, who he didn't really play for a long period of time, but
he also did have one of the worst defenses and one of the worst run games throughout his tenure in Detroit.
He had Calvin Johnson.
He did
in Detroit.
Now, but also he never had a 1,000-yard rusher when he was in Detroit either. The offense was literally him and Calvin, and then maybe like Kenny Galladay,
Golden Tate.
Yeah, but still, these are not that team was never built for success, even with Stafford there and Calvin Johnson there. They had no hope. But the minute that he goes to the Rams, he wins a Super Bowl. He's in the playoffs every year. He's contending for a championship. The guy's there.
Well, did DeAndre Swift ever rush for 1,000 yards on Detroit?
Nope. So my point exactly. But anyway, kind of going back into it, the only reason why I have the Seahawks at 2 and the Rams at 1 is because the Seahawks this year have gotten a lot of surprise out of Sam Darnold. JSN's been very good. The defense has been very good as well. But they have shown signs of falling apart later in games.
Now, here's what I'm going to say. I don't understand if this is a coaching aspect or a culture change or whatever, but last year you had arguably one of the best 1-2 punch at running backs in the entire league with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. And this season, Kenneth Walker isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And neither is Zach Charbonnet. And that alone is surprising.
Well, to be honest,
because they're not bad.
To be honest with you, I think the big reason why is one person, and that's Sam Darnold. I think that with Geno Smith there, they knew that they had to rely on the run game so that the pressure wasn't really mounted on Geno's shoulders. Whereas they just paid their guy. They think that Sam Darnold is their franchise guy now. I think that they have a lot of trust in him, so they've kind of realized that we don't have to put the weight on Kenneth Walker or Charbonnet either. Now, Charbonnet's been the better of the two so far, but I think that with Sam Darnold and the offense, the way that it's clicked, especially with the passing game, I think that that's why they've kind of relied less on their running game and more on their passing game. But again, the only reason why I have the Rams over the Seahawks is because the Rams have lost 2 games this year, one by a blocked field goal and one by a stop on 4th and 1 by the 49ers in overtime. they could technically be 9-0 right now had they made a field goal and had they not fumbled in regulation with Kyron Williams on the 1-yard line. So
now
it's close. This weekend will be the tell for
now
it, though.
what I'm gonna say right here is kind of showing you how good of a season Jackson Smith and Jigba is really having. I believe he only has 15 less receiving yards than the entire Titans team as a total.
Yeah, that's absurd. But again, it's the Titans. Other than Calvin Ridley, can you name any receivers on that team without looking?
Eric Alumaner.
Okay.
And then they have I don't know his first name, but they have the DK guy, the rookie.
Yeah.
We got the punt return.
Chamere DK.
Chamere
I
DK.
think
and
his
then
name is something like that. Yeah.
Chigozoma Okonkwo.
Yeah.
And then
not great though.
They still got Nick Westbrook Akine, or is he on a different team?
No, he's not on that team anymore.
I think he's on the Dolphins.
I think he is also on the Dolphins. But anyway, obviously the Rams and Seahawks game this week should be the game of the week. That'll kind of determine who I believe the 1 and the 2 are. Obviously, I just give the Rams a little bit more of an edge because they've had a tough road so far, but the level of Stafford's play so far and the way that the defense has looked as well, only being first in touchdowns allowed and second in points per game is incredible. So it's hard not to give the Rams their flowers there too, obviously. Not even just saying it as a Rams fan. As someone who loves football, you got to give credit where credit's due. We close the show out here. We're just going to give our picks for the rest of the weekend. Obviously, we did see the Jets lose to the Patriots last night, which, again, kind of expected. But obviously, I would have taken the Patriots that game as well, too. But we'll start out with the Madrid game. We have the Washington Commanders versus the Miami Dolphins. It's being played in Spain. I am going to take the Miami Dolphins to win once again.
I am also going to take the Dolphins to win once again. And I'm going to say this. It all depends on how Tua plays, but not only how Tua plays. It all depends on the play calling that Mike McDaniels makes.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I also think it's the big reason is no McLaurin.
There's no McLaurin. There's no Jane Daniels. There's no...
They're missing a lot of guys.
They're like... And it kind of is like... You look at what Jonathan Taylor did last week, and obviously that was the big headline. Jonathan Taylor went off against the Falcons.
It depends on what Devon Achane's going to
do. But everyone's like, oh, yeah, Taylor put up 50 fantasy points last week. Devon Achane put up 40.
Yeah.
It
was still impressive.
It was impressive.
It was very impressive.
Very impressive.
I think he's going to be a big factor in that game as well, too. So, again, both of us are going to take the Dolphins. Then we also have the Bengals at the Steelers. I think that the Steelers do find a way to win this game again. Obviously, I think it's going to be a very close game. Wouldn't be surprised the Bengals do come in very close, but I'm going to take the Steelers to win.
Yeah, I do think that the Steelers do win this game. I know they didn't win it when they played the last time, but I do think this time the Steelers do figure out a way to win the game.
Yeah, and plus we know that Mike Tomlin loves to have a winning record. He's never had a losing record, so I think that they do win a game like this.
The Unction Part 2.
Yeah, the Unction Part 2. That's right. Then we have the Chargers at the Jaguars. With Travis Hunter out, this is a no-brainer. I'm
taking the
Los Angeles
Chargers.
Yeah.
Quickly, what I'm going to say is that several NFL players or insiders and pros told Travis Hunter that you got to pick offense or defense. You're not going to be able to do what you did in college in the league.
Yeah, and he should, to be honest, he should stick with defense.
When you look at how Deion did it, right? Deion was built differently than Travis Hunter is.
Yeah.
Deion had more muscle than Hunter does.
That he did. I think that he should stick with defense, to be honest with you. He's a great receiver, but I think he's much more suited for a corner. I think that he's built a lot better for it as well, too. Then we also have the Buccaneers at the Bills this week. I think that the Buccaneers already have their division pretty much kind of locked up. I don't think any teams are really going to compete with them. So I think that the Bills definitely do need this game a little bit more if they want to make the AFC East a little bit more interesting. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills at home this week.
I think I am going to take the Buccaneers.
Yeah. I think that this is going to be a very good game as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucs can win it. I just think that the Bills need it a little bit more. Obviously, like I said, the Buccaneers kind of have a weak division, so they could potentially lose this game and find themselves in a really good spot. So I'm going to take the Bills. Then you have the Bears at the Vikings. This one's really weird to me. because I sit here and say that I want to take the Bears, but I just don't trust them against the Vikings defense. I don't know why. I think that the Vikings defense has started to get a little bit healthier now, so I think they give the Bears a little bit of problems. But
that besides the point, I'm going to take the Bears.
I think I may actually change my pick. I think I'm also going to go with the Bears as well, too. I originally had the Vikings. I just don't see it with J.J. McCarthy, though. I really don't. I'm going to go with the Bears this week.
And then we have the Texans at the Titans. I mean, this is an obvious pick.
I'm going to go with the Texans.
I'm going with the Texans, no question. There's no way. The Titans just haven't figured it out yet.
This could be a weird one, though, too. Divisional matchup in Tennessee.
It could be a very weird one, but it just doesn't seem like the Titans are like the favorite too.
No, no. And
not even the favorite. Not like it just feels weird saying that the Titans are gonna win.
Yeah, I know it does. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they could maybe pull off an upset, especially with C.J. Stroud not playing, even though we just talked about it. I don't know if Davis Mills is really going to play that bad either. For some reason, this game just feels weird to me, though. So, I don't know. I'm still going to take the Texans, but it could be a close game.
If the Texans do win, it's because Stroud isn't playing, and who knows how Davis Mills is going to play. It's going to all depend on how their defense does.
Yeah, and I think their defense is going to cause havoc. So
you have Jalen Petrie, Dirk Stingley, Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter.
Yeah, that defense is legit. So again, Texans there. Panthers at the Falcons.
I'm taking the Falcons.
I want to take the Falcons, but remember the Falcons also got beat 30-0 by the same Panthers team earlier in the year.
I did forget about that.
I don't know. I want to take Atlanta because they're at home, but to be honest, I think I'm going to take Atlanta just because they're at home. The Panthers are very weird on the road.
Now, I'm taking the Falcons too, but something that I did see is that Michael Penix came out and said when he's playing during the games, he gets no help or advice from coaches and stuff. Why?
Again, I don't know.
I don't understand. If you see Penix doing something wrong or struggling, and you're a coach, you should go up to him, sit down with him.
Help him.
You should have him look at the iPad.
I don't know. To be honest with you, as a Rams fan who has the Falcons' first-round pick, good. I hope the Panthers win that game. But I think that the Falcons are going to find a way to win. I don't know. This one could be a really weird one, too. Is the Packers at the Giants. I said it to you before we came in here. And
I am taking New York Giants.
Upset.
Like
I said it to you when we were out there, Jameis Winston, when he comes in and fills in, is very, very good record-wise. When the coach gets fired, usually the team elevates their play the next week. The Packers have not looked good. Man. You know what? For the sake of you, because I know that this is always how it works, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers.
Yes!
Because every time I pick against the Giants, they win. Every time I pick the Giants, they lose. I'm going to take the Packers.
Hey, Jameis, where's the pain? Pain, yes. Just pain. A lot of pain.
A lot of pain.
A lot of pain.
God, I hope that
that's
they
gotta
win
be
for that
that's got to be my favorite interview.
I hope they win for that reason.
Or the one when he played against Pittsburgh when it was snowing that game.
Yeah.
That interview was
also very funny. The horse is ridden into battle.
Yeah, the horse is ridden into battle. Yeah,
he's a nutcase. Then we have the 49ers at the Cardinals.
I'm taking the 49ers.
I want to take the Cardinals, but I'm going to take the 49ers. Even though Brock Purdy's making his start again
that's
this
what
week.
I was going to say. The only thing is if Brock Purdy doesn't play well,
I think that the Cardinals may give him a little more trouble than people expect to. So I'm going to take the Niners, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals can win. Then obviously, like I said multiple times, game of the week, Seahawks at the Rams. I'm going to give the Rams the edge here just because they're playing at home. I think that, the Rams definitely are a little bit more seasoned when it comes to quarterback play. I think Sam Darnold's going to get pressured a lot, and usually when he gets pressured, that's when he struggles a little bit. The defensive line is definitely there for the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams to win.
I am also going to lean towards taking the Rams, but I wouldn't be surprised if, as like Stephon Diggs did in Buffalo, if this is the one game of the year where Cooper Kupp becomes Cooper Kupp.
That's why I wore the jersey today. Obviously, I know that there's a little hard feelings with some Rams fans.
No, I know.
I'll always be thankful for the guy that brought us a Super Bowl as the Super Bowl MVP. So I hope for the best for him.
What I'm going to say
Rams.
is that with the addition of Rashid Shaheed and I don't know if Cooper Kupp playing with a little extra motivation this week and Jackson Smith and Jigba being the best receiver in the league this year, I do think that those three receivers could give the Rams secondary
some problems.
Yeah,
I can see
But then again, I also do see the Rams defensive line giving the Seattle's offensive line some problems and not giving Sam Darnold the amount of time he needs to
get the ball to his guys. That's the one reason why.
That's the one reason why I'm going to pick the Rams, only because their defensive line is very good.
Yeah, they have been very, very good. So that's why I'm going to take the Rams as well, too. Then we have the Ravens at the Browns. I think this is fairly straightforward. I'm going to take the Ravens to win. They're starting to get back on a roll.
I am also taking the Ravens to win. It's the Browns.
It is the Cleveland Browns. So we will see how that goes. Then we have the Chiefs at the Broncos. I think that this is going to be a sneaky game too, but I think that the Chiefs are going to end up beating the Broncos. The Broncos, to me, 8-2 doesn't really show this team that much. They've trailed in literally almost every game this year. And I think with the Chiefs, if the Chiefs can get a lead on them, I don't know if the Chiefs are going to blow a lead to Denver. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to win.
I'm going to say this is going to be like the Chiefs-Jags game. How I said it depends on how the Chiefs come out and play. If the Chiefs come out and play like the Chiefs, then there's no way the Broncos beat them. But if they come out and they play to the Broncos level, then there's a chance that the Chiefs do wind up beating them. Or if the Broncos come out and play to the Chiefs level, there's a chance the Broncos do wind up beating them.
Yeah, the only reason why I could take the Chiefs, though, is still no Pat Surtain. I think that causes a big problem for their secondary, especially with a guy like Mahomes and Rashee Rice being back. So, I don't know. I just see the Chiefs.
I am going
that
to lean towards taking the Chiefs, but if they do lose, I will not be surprised.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing as you there. Then we have the Lions at the Eagles. This is the primetime Sunday night game. This one's interesting. I'm going to take the Lions to win. I think that the Eagles, like you mentioned,
I am also going to take the Lions to win, and I don't understand. This is something I don't understand. You have a 7-2 team facing off against another 7-2 team.
No, they're not 7-2. They're 6-3.
And it's not the primetime game. I think.
Oh, what, for like the Rams and?
Yes, I 100. Like, I've seen so many people online this past week say that the Rams Seahawks game needs to get flexed to primetime.
Well, it's not even that. They need to be put on the 425 slate as the main game on Fox, at least. That's what they should have done. I don't mind the Lions and Eagles being the Sunday night game. That's a good Sunday night game.
No, I'm not saying it's going to be a bad game, but everybody's going to want to watch Rams Seahawks.
Of course they are. So they better flex that game into the TV slot, because if I can't watch it and I have to stream it, I'm going to be pissed. Yeah, but at least for the Lions and Eagles' sake, I'm going to take the Lions. I just think that the Eagles, again, still with the frustrations of A.J. Brown and the offense really not clicking. I think that the defense for the Lions will give them a little bit of problems, and obviously the Lions' offense is very good. So I'm going to take the Lions. I think you took the Lions as well, too. And then, obviously, the finale of the week is going to be the Monday night game between the Cowboys and the Raiders. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, like I said last week on the show, they did see the passing of Marshawn Kneeland. I think that the Cowboys come out and play with a second purpose for that game.
Was there bye week last week?
They did. They had the bye week last week. I think that they have their coming off the week of a long extra week of rest, playing for a second reason, to honor their fallen teammate who passed away tragically that last week. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win. I just don't think the Raiders are very good either, so I'm going to see Dallas win in that game.
I also am going to take Dallas to win, but I'm going to say this again. I took them. Well, I wasn't on the podcast, but I thought that the Cardinals were going to get mopped by the Cowboys, and they didn't.
Well, the Cardinals are a lot better than people think too. So there's a lot of issues there. Like I said, the NFC West is one of the top divisions. Cowboys defense isn't there, but at least the Cowboys had made some additions. I think that, again, they're playing with another purpose this week for a teammate that they probably, or not probably, that they definitely wish was still with them on the sidelines and in the lineup. So they're probably going to do a big tribute for him before the game. And obviously, like I said, they'll probably be wearing patches. They're winning that game.
I did see that Jerry Jones came out and said that they did set up a fund for his girlfriend who is pregnant and expecting a child.
Yeah. I saw that as well, too.
So that they will be set for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
Because, I mean, it's sad when you see somebody at such a young age decide to
take their own life.
Yeah.
No, it's very, very sad. So, again, like I said, I think the Cowboys kind of walk away with the win there.
Yeah.
That being said, thank you guys for tuning in to the Straight Outta Stratford. Well,
I also didn't give a definite answer. But
oh, shoot. Okay, you know what? Never mind. Forget the outro. We'll go back and I'll redo it again. Okay. So.
I do think that the Cowboys do run away with the game just because it's the Raiders, but even though that the Raiders aren't the best team out there, like, I'm not surprised. They almost lost to the Giants.
Yeah. So.
Then that says something.
Yeah.
But
no, it does. That being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Straight Outta Stratford podcast, episode number 21. I'm your host, Zach.
I'm Julian.
And we will see you guys next week.